All right, we ready to record yet? Or what are you doing?
Let's go.
This is Gone in 60 Seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to Forgotten Cinema. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because the more popular movies were released at the same time, or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie, or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy Forgotten Cinema, we want to hear from you. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're available on all platforms with a backlog of over 250 episodes for your listening pleasure. What's up?
Nothing. You know, I went back home, found out my brother got caught in a car theft ring, and he didn't steal the cars he needed. He almost got squished by, the doctor, the ninth doctor of all, the angriest of all doctors.
Oh,
and
Doctor Who reference.
So I had to get back into my life of crime to save him and steal 50 cars in 4 nights, which is really only 12 hours because I waited till the very last night to steal all the cars.
Because it's more exciting, Butler. He explains why you can't do that.
It is more exciting.
So, yes, we are doing Gone in 60 Seconds. And before I get into the facts, Mike is going to do his AI-enhanced summary.
In the high-octane world of car theft, Randall Memphis Raines is a legend. Retired from the life of crime, Memphis is thrust back into the driver's seat when his brother Kip falls foul of a ruthless mobster.
Falls foul.
The stakes? A life or death heist that demands the impossible, stealing 50 luxury cars in one night. With the clock ticking, Memphis reassembles his old crew, including the enigmatic Sway and the silent powerhouse Sphinx. As they race against time, dodging a persistent detective, each car theft is a heart-pumping sprint toward freedom. It all culminates in a desperate grab for the elusive prize, Eleanor, a mint condition 67 Mustang Shelby GT500. Will Memphis's crew deliver the goods, or is it the end of the road for Kip? End of the road. Gone in 60 Seconds is a pedal to the metal ride that never lets up on the gas, delivering thrills, spills, and an unforgettable adventure. And this was me asking for a succinct summary.
To who? Who did you ask? Which
this was Copilot, which is ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh my God, so long.
It was pretty good though. I kind of like it. I like the puns.
So Gone in 60 Seconds has a runtime of 118 minutes. It's rated PG-13. Production budget of $90 million or $103.3 million, somewhere in there. You had a release date of Friday, June 9th, 2000. The aughts. Opening weekend, it did $25.3 million. Domestic, $101.6 million. International, $135.6 million for a worldwide total of $237.2 million.
Not bad.
Well, not bad, but my first fact is according to due to high production costs and marketing costs, the film lost the studio $90 million, but due to Hollywood accounting, Disney wrote it up as a $212 million loss.
What?
Just so they don't have to pay taxes. I mean, why is that all right? Production company was Touchstone Pictures and Jerry Bruckheimer Films, and was distributed, obviously, by Buena Vista Pictures Distribution, which is obviously Disney. Said it came out on the 9th, so let's go back to the June 2nd, 2000. You had Big Mama's House, the Martin Lawrence breakout hit. The 9th of June, up against Gone in 60 Seconds. It actually had no wide release against it, but it had 2 limited releases. Well, a lot of limited releases, but the 2 that I remember were the documentary American Pimp and the movie Love, Labor's Lost. And in the wide release, now you had 4 movies come out the week after. The 16th of June in a wide release, you had Titan AE, which was an episode we did, Butler.
Yes, it was.
Shaft, Boys and Girls, and Fantasia 2000, and a limited release of Jesus' Son. So Gone in 60 Seconds really didn't have a lot of competition except Big Mama's House, of course.
Well, that Shaft was pretty...
I don't know. I don't remember how Shaft did in the box office.
I don't remember how it did, but I remember people making a big deal about it.
Of course, because it was...
I was actually thinking about it last week, about putting it on the list.
Do whatever you want, man.
So I was like, I remember really liking that first Shaft movie.
Okay. I forgot. That's right. There was a second one.
There was with
Was that called
all the
Shaft
Shafts
2000?
came back. No, because
Was that called something else?
ago.
Shaft something like Shaft Revisited or Shaft.
Shaft, the next
We're
generation.
back or something like that.
I know it was like 3 generations of Shaft.
I thought Richard Roundtree was in this one. He was in this one.
He Samuel Jackson visits him,
Yes.
and then in the newer one, which I did not see, which I think
His
you
son.
did say
I
you
did
saw.
see.
It's his son.
Yeah.
Visits Samuel Jackson and Roundtree's still in it. So it's like the 3 of them. Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's our Shaft update here. This film was directed by Dominic Sena, who's done California, Swordfish, and Season of the Witch. He's a big-time music video director who's done music videos for Janet Jackson, Richard Marx, Bryan Adams, to name a few. Written by Scott Rosenberg, who's done Beautiful Girls, an episode we did, Con Air, and Venom, to name a few. This movie is actually a remake of the 1974 film of the same name, Gone in 60 Seconds. That was written by H.B. Halicki. He actually did a movie called The Junkman in 1982. And Dominic, the director, Sena, worked as a camera operator on that movie. So I think there's that connection there in terms of this film and the original director.
Did you ever see the original?
I did not. I watched the trailer.
I watched the trailer as well.
So a lot of it's because Halicki's a stunt guy, was a stunt guy. He actually, he died in a stunt for the sequel to his original Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, did he? I didn't read that.
Died in a crash during a water tower stunt while filming a sequel to the original. So yeah. So, I mean, I didn't have time to go back and watch the remake. I think that if for a little behind the scenes, tidbit, we have been doing 2 episodes, recording 2 episodes a week to kind of get our cushion back. And that's coming to an end now. So we're going to have our cushion. We're going to go back to 1 episode a week. But when we do that, like when we do movies like a remake, then I sometimes go back and I want to watch the original. So now I'll have time to do that. So I didn't have time to.
Plus Alien.
Right. Like we were doing these 2 that we're doing, and then we're doing our lead up series, which is Alien. So we had to do Aliens this week. So yeah, it would have been really tough to kind of
squeeze that in.
Family and work and all that stuff. Yeah. That gets in the way. I tell you,
this isn't the real work yet. Unless you want to join our Patreon. We'll say that later.
Stop. All right. Cinematographer was Paul Cameron, who's done Collateral, a movie we did and Butler loves.
I love that movie.
Man on Fire, which we did.
We also did, and I also love that movie. Not as much as Collateral, but I do love it.
And a 2012 Total Recall, the remake of Total Recall.
Which I still have to see. I hear it's not bad.
There's a lot of things you still have to see, Butler, that you haven't seen.
Well, you said the Total Recall movie's not bad. It follows the book more than the original.
It does.
Movie,
It's just a lot of CG. So but like Bryan Cranston's good in it, but Colin Farrell's good in that.
Colin Farrell's good in pretty much.
But I mean, the first one is so memorable for me. It was a memorable movie experience going to see it, and I just love it's Arnold, and it's just a lot of cool stuff. So it's definitely not the same movie. Yeah.
Total Recall was the first big movie that came out when you started working at the theater?
No, Total Recall was 92? 90? No, Total Recall is 90. Okay. And I saw Total Recall with my cousin, and it was opening night. And I remember the scene. I don't know if I've ever told this.
You told me a story about Total Recall, which is why I was thinking maybe.
So we went to see this movie. I don't know if it was my cousin and somebody else. My cousin has since passed away, so that's why I always remember this, because it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. We go to see this movie. I don't know if we were with 2 other people, but we were there. The scene when they grab Quaid and he's like, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about," and then he says, "Not this hell," but he says the F word, and then he kills the guys because he doesn't know he's activated. And then he kills his guys. You blab, Quaid, you blab. When that scene happened, the entire theater erupted. It was like, yeah! Everyone was clapping and cheering. And we were like, yeah, let's go. So I was really excited. Like I've never had, there's been little moments like that. I never get that now. I never hear that in theaters. Maybe when The Dark Knight came out, at the end of The Dark Knight, remember we were in the theater, everyone was cheering at the end of the movie. I don't get that anymore in movies.
Rocky Balboa, the audience cheered when he starts beating up, I can't remember the name of the guy in Rocky Balboa. But when he comes back from the fight,
right,
and he wins. He starts quote unquote winning.
You're talking about. So the last one was who did he fight in the last one? Was that the one where he's fighting the guy? It was like part of the video game. He beats him in the video game.
He beats him in the video game, so he does the exhibition match. Yeah. So after he breaks his hand, and then Rocky gets back into it.
Yeah.
The whole audience was like, yeah. And I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah. So in Total Recall, that's in the beginning of the film. So as soon as that happened, it was like, let's go. Like it was awesome. I always remember that experience. So that's my total experience. This film, Gone in 60 Seconds, composer was Trevor Rabin, who's done Deep Blue Sea, He actually did the song Deepest Shark.
Did he?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Armageddon and National Treasure. And it was edited by Roger Barton, Chris Lebenson, and Tom Muldoon. Barton has done World War Z and Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars 3, the prequels. Chris Lebenson has been nominated for 2 Oscars, one for Top Gun and the other for Crimson Tide. And Muldoon has done Transformers and Bad Boys 2. Produced by Jerry Bruckheimer and Mike Stenson. Bruckheimer has done pretty much any action film you watched from the 80s to 90s. He's produced it. Armageddon, the 2 Top Guns, most action films. He's
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's either Spielberg producing it or Bruckheimer producing it.
Sometimes both, right?
Did they do Transformers together?
They did do Transformers together, yeah.
Stenson is more of an executive producer on movies. Remember the Titans, The Lone Ranger, which is an episode we did. This film has a big cast, Butler. Like,
it does have a big cast.
It's like, and I'm
make it quick.
What?
Make it quick.
Nicolas Cage as Memphis Reigns, won an Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas. He's nominated for adaptation. He's also in The Rock. Giovanni Ribisi as Kip Reigns, his younger brother. Boiler Room, The Gift, and Sky Captain World of Tomorrow. Angelina Jolie as Sway. They give her name in the credits. Like it was like whatever, quote, Sway.
Oh, really?
And I was like, nobody calls her the name. It's Sway. She won an Oscar for Girl Interrupted. She also was nominated for The Changeling. She's also in The Eternals, amongst other things. Robert Duvall as Otto Hallowell. 7 Oscar nominations. He's won for Tender Mercies. Delroy Lindo as Detective Roland Castlebeck. That's a classic
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood name. Get Shorty, Defy Bloods, and The Core. Timothy Oliphant as Detective Drykoff. I think this is like his second film.
This is his second film,
because Go is 99, which is an episode we did. He's also in Scream 2. I've got some notes on Oliphant in this film in terms of what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Notes like my viewing notes. Not like notes, fact notes. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, he's also in the TV show Justified. Will Patton, Atlee Jackson. He's in there for a hot second. The Postman in Armageddon. Chai McBride as Donnie Astricki from the TV show Pushing Daisies and the movie we did on the show, Butler. The Frighteners. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Vinnie Jones in his 3rd film, I believe, because we did Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels, and I think in Snatch, and then this film. He plays Sphinx. He's also, like I said, Snatch. He's also in the Midnight Meat Train. Christopher Eccleston, as Butler said, the 9th Doctor. He plays Raymond Calitri, Doctor Who TV show, and Thor: The Dark World. Then you have like James Duval, who you probably saw in ID4 with, why is his name Freb with a B?
It's Freb, and then don't they have another guy with like another weird name?
Mirror Man.
Mirror Man.
TJ Cross's Mirror Man, who's in one other movie, Bad Company, and
I saw he
I couldn't
quit.
find anything. Oh, I think he's a hip hop star, hip hop artist.
Okay.
William Lee Scott as Toby, October Sky. That's where at Pearl Harbor. Scott Kahn as Tumbler from the Ocean series, and then you saw Grace Zabriskie in there as the mother. Frances Fisher's in there as like Otto's girlfriend or wife.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Ari Gross a little bit. Young Michael Pena is in this film.
Yeah. When he popped up, I was like, oh man, I didn't realize he plays that guy.
For the whole movie, I'm watching the character of Johnny B, who is the guy that's after them, and I'm like, I know who this person is, and I don't. And it was Master P. And he's uncredited in the movie, and I have no idea why.
I was wondering why.
Yeah.
I was like, why isn't this guy in the main credits?
Yeah. And there's a couple other faces you probably name there, but you recognize, but I'm not going to get into them because this cast is way too long. Way too much. All right. I don't know your history with this film. I know I saw this in the movie theater. I probably saw it while I was working because I came back to the theater in 99. So yeah, it would have been a movie I probably saw in the theater with my friends. I don't know when you've seen it. If you've seen it.
I thought I saw it in the theaters. Well, my father definitely bought it. And then I watched it a few times since then with him.
Okay.
So this is probably my 4th or 5th time watching it. The first time in a while, but yeah.
Okay.
I've seen this a few times.
Give me some of your initial thoughts, I guess. Rewatch thoughts.
It's very orange. The movie is very yellow. Like I know that like that used to be the thing back then.
Yeah.
But now that we're out of it and going back to movies that are colored and tinted this way, is just like, holy crap, this is yellow. And it's kind of like too much. Back then it wasn't too much. It was actually like movies like that. You're like, yeah, this is cool. This is LA. This is but now it's like, could you maybe put a little bit more color into it?
It's got a lot of like that mid to late 90s look.
Yeah.
Swordfish, like a lot of those, a lot of like Domino, like a lot of like, Tony Scott stuff, a lot of like that kind of
The Matrix even, but the Matrix purposely made it green.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
tinting your movie was big back then.
It's not only that the film is like very warm, very bright.
Yeah.
But also like everyone dyed their hair blonde in this film.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like,
everyone's got highlights.
Yeah, Cage is blonde. Angelina Jolie is blonde. Ribisi's got like his stuff going on with his hair.
He's got hair. He's got dreads.
I'm pretty sure Oliphant's got some like,
stuff going on,
frosted tips in there. Like, yeah, why? Like I that's the one thing I noticed. Like, why is everybody just blonde? I mean, I'm wondering if that was like a thing. Like they were like, let's listen, it's going to be really like a hot, bright yellow film. I want you to bring that energy.
They're filming in 99, going 2000 is going to be all about highlights.
Maybe.
That's the thing. So we got to get to it.
Let's see. I had highlights when I turned 30. So that would have been 2005. So yeah, maybe early 5. Yeah. Maybe I should bring that back. Bring that style back. What do you think? Yeah.
Listen,
no? Yes? Yes.
When I dyed my hair to be Spike from Buffy last year.
Yes.
And once it grew out and it was like my regular blonde here and then the highlights here, I got compliments every day I went out.
A lot of ladies.
Every day, always ladies.
Interesting.
And I was
like,
are
you hearing this?
She liked it because she was like, my man's wanted. All right,
calm down.
And I was like. But yeah, I constantly got, so it's time to bring him back. Everything old is new again. Let's go.
Well, you don't have to wait for society to tell you it's okay. Just do what you want to do.
I do want to do it. At least won't let me do it again.
Why?
Because she doesn't want me to scrub my hair. Because I got to bleach it.
Well, until there's a ring on your finger, Butler, you can do whatever you want.
That's true. I'm getting a bottle of Clorox tonight.
Yeah. So I did notice the look of the film. It was definitely noticeable.
So I think that was definitely my biggest woof. I think a lot of the film I remember, it's definitely cheesy. It's definitely fun. It's fun. My one thing that I always think every time I watch this movie is, why didn't this movie take off in the same way as Fast and Furious? Because I find them both very similar and I enjoy this movie almost the same, if not maybe a little bit more than the very first Fast and Furious.
Well, how about this? How about Fast and Furious in terms of its soundtrack, in terms of its culture is more, I think that's more LA than this film. Like this film has a bunch of guys that are listening to old 70s.
Because they're retired.
Yeah.
Things, and you don't focus 70s, as much on the younger crew.
Yeah. It's not about the now. It's about the old. Like if you focused more on Kip and his gang, maybe. But Fast and Furious seems very much like the culture of the world of that time in terms of, stealing cars, racing and stuff like that. This is just like a crew doing a heist, and
which is every Fast and Furious that came after the.
Well, yeah, but it already had cemented itself. Well, no,
sure,
now it's all like.
Now it's ridiculous. I'm talking about 2, 3.
Yeah,
4.
no, absolutely. So maybe I think that's one reason. My big thing with this film is the bad guy shows up, Calitri, and then we don't see him until the end, and he's not really a threat until obviously the end of the film. But you end up having these exterior, tangential, extraneous threats to our protagonists that have nothing to do with Calitri.
Oh, like
Johnny B, like that whole thing where he's got a rival boosting
which
gang.
Just comes out of nowhere,
right? Calitri is so feared, and he's so feared in the area in terms of somebody who you do not want to mess with. And I don't understand what the Johnny B and his gangs. What their plan is here to go after, Memphis and mess him up so he can't do what he needs to do, and then get Calitri mad at you for stopping his business. Yeah.
I don't think Johnny B really thinks that much. I think he's thinking get rid of Memphis and then Calitri will have to give me the contract. Not like, oh man, I just turned up the timetable. Now Calitri's going to scramble and be real mad at me.
Yeah. So there's that. Even the cops a little bit, the Delroy Lindo and Timothy Olyphant characters, the whole thing where
obsession with trying to get him doing the one car,
the whole thing where they where Freb, James Duvall's character, boosts a car from Chinatown or something.
Oh, yeah.
Brings it back and what are you doing? Get this car out of here. And they open up the trunk and it's got heroin in there. And then the cops show up and then they spill some of the heroin. So they get the cop to rev the car. So it blows the heroin everywhere.
I don't think he was going to notice the heroin anyway. It's a dirt ground.
Well, that is actually from
the original
movie. So I understand why that's in there. But again, that's an extraneous threat to our protagonist that has nothing to do with the main plot.
Well, oh my God, what's his character's name? I already forgot.
Reb?
Delindo's character.
Oh, Castlebeck.
When he gets in there, he also sees the list of the call signs for the cars or the cop call signs.
Right.
Yeah. So that gives him the tip off that they're going to do it tonight.
That's why. Yeah, no, that's why he's there. I get that. The whole thing with the Cadillac.
Oh, why Fred steals it? Yeah.
It's just there's other things they put in there to kind of try to trip up the good guys, as you were. when Calitri's just like, we saw him in the beginning and then we kind of see him at the end and then that's it. And if he's supposed to be the real threat that they keep saying, why I'm not scared at the end of the movie when he shows up, because I'm like, well, I have no idea. I have no basis for your
do
threat.
agree with that. Yeah. He almost squishes Kip and then he doesn't because he's sure he can get Memphis to do his thing.
Right.
Like, I think you need to see him maybe he takes out a couple of Kip's members.
Something.
Maybe Kip has, instead of 4 guys, maybe Kip had 6 guys when it starts and he takes out 2 of them until he gets to Kip. And then you get like, yeah. And then you're like, oh, okay, Calitri does mean business. But you need a scene where you always need that scene where the villain, especially a big villain like that, does something that establishes them as the villain. Makes you hate them.
And I don't know if that's the sentiment of the films that are being made back then in terms of the late 90s, early 2000s, where, we're tough and we're in this like world of crime, but like not everybody really dies. The good guy, nobody on the good side is going to die.
Even Toby, when he gets shot, is like, oh, he's going to be fine.
Right.
He's going to make it out.
I'm curious, what did you think of the performances? Did any stand out as good? Did any stand out as not so good?
I mean, I like Nicolas Cage.
Of course. I'm always a Nicolas Cage guy.
I mean, no matter what the movie is, I think he always plays it right and well.
Well, I think he makes a choice. I think
and he sticks to it. Yeah.
He makes a decision and choice about his character, whether you not into it or not. It's not, he's not, he's taking it seriously.
And I know some people don't like some of his, or like think he's a little weird, which he is.
But that's fine.
But yeah, like I always like what he does. Yeah. I like his choices. So I like him in this movie. Kip is a little, like, I usually like Giovanni Ribisi, but I think Kip is a little like one way and then the other way. Like he's an idiot kind of, you almost think like he's strung out almost. And then he's not, and he's very with it and together.
It feels like he didn't have a lot of help maybe with the character, and he was just kind of figuring it out
as it went along.
I also have my note is also there's some moments where I feel like he's got this. The director gave him the screwed up younger kid playbook and said like, this is what I want you to do. It felt very much like, like that kind of thing. It felt like he was just at some point like, going through the motions and doing the paint by number screwed up younger kid kind of thing. But I think my first point is probably more accurate. I don't think he had a lot of help figuring out the character.
Because Kip is supposed to be at least good enough that Calitri gives him the 50 car list. That's a lot. He's got to be good.
Right. He can't be a screw up.
And then you open it with him. He can't even make breakfast. He can't even make scrambled eggs and bacon. Like the toast burns. He acts like he's on drugs. I'm just like, wait, why are you hiring this kid?
Yeah, I didn't get all that. I thought that was really just off.
And then because when he goes to the garage, he's not that way anymore.
Yeah, and I had a note where like Cage and Ribisi got along well in this film, that because they were working on their scenes together. So maybe that came from that, but I didn't like that scene. I was just like, why would you eat any? Like, why? He's stained. It's like he lives in a dump, and it's just like, are you together or not? Like, I didn't get that. Oliphant.
Yeah, I didn't mind Oliphant.
It's not.
He's definitely trying to play bad cop, and then he shuts it off right away.
It's not that I don't mind it. I feel like he's playing his character, thinks he's the coolest person in the world, and it's just he's not. And I think maybe because it's his second film, I think maybe because he's new. Because I kept watching it, I kept thinking of his character in Scream 2. I kept just thinking of that character.
Okay,
and I was like, because in Go, I think in Go he's got a firmer grasp on his character. To be fair, he's playing the second lead he's playing the third lead to a second lead almost. Like he's not he's a supporting character. So he's probably just, I'm in a cool movie with all these people, whatever it is. I just feel like there's really probably not much for him to do with this role.
I mean, when you're acting against Castlebeck and like Delroy Lindo, he's playing it so cool.
Right.
He's like, I like Delroy Lindo a lot in this movie. And I think he's playing Castlebeck really cool. He's like a cop that's like...
Well, it felt like he was playing the same role he was playing in Get Shorty, except he was a good guy.
Absolutely. And I think that it's tough to like, well, how are you standing out? Mm-hmm. But I thought he was kind of acting all cool and smart to make himself unlikable.
Maybe.
When like Memphis was around and all them. And then he shuts it off and goes, he's going to do... So what are we going to do? And he just shuts it off. And he's just kind of... I felt like he was kind of amateur just learning from Castlebeck.
Okay.
So that's fair. I didn't really mind it, but I get where you're coming from, though.
No, that's fair. That could be something that was a choice by Oliphant.
I thought that was a choice, but it could just be him trying to find something.
And that's completely fair. And I'm not. That's great. Good for him.
But I think Sway
that's cool.
Didn't have much to do. She was just kind of in there to be the love interest.
And she's supposed to be a couple years younger than Kip and his buddies. Like she's supposed to be closer to their age than Memphis. I was like, what's the age difference here? Because she looked very young. And she
was very young.
And I didn't get didn't really.
She's supposed to be between Memphis and Kip, and she was actually 2 years younger than Giovanni Ribisi, or the same age or something.
And the whole thing where they're in the car and they're waiting to steal the car, and the couple's having sex, and they're like, "What are you?" And they're doing all the innuendo at the drive shaft. I'm just like, can we stop?
He's doing the innuendo. The first time I saw it, like this time when I watched it, every other time I thought she was kind of into it, but now I'm watching, I'm like, I don't think she's into it. I think she's annoyed by him saying all the car stuff, which is why she's like, "Hey, we gotta go." That's what I got from it this time.
I don't know. It feels. I mean, Angelina Jolie has always been an actress that kind of plays with the dialogue where you don't really tell if she's serious or not. Like she's like, even like I'm thinking of the movie Salt, which I saw the other day again, which I think you should watch. I think you'd like it. She's always like, even like when we did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, there's always like that hint of, I don't believe that she believes her lines, like the character, not that she's not acting well, but like she's like sarcastic and very acerbic.
She does, to have that.
It comes, and I think that might be just her, not acting style, but her, and just her like putting herself into that role. So I think maybe that's what you're picking up on a little bit. I get why you have it in there, because you want to have a big summer film, you have two big hot stars, and you want to have that.
Gotta have that makeout
scene, tension. I get it. It just feels so forced.
It is absolutely forced.
And when you're watching it, you're back there in the day and you're watching it, you're like, oh, cool. But then when you watch it 20 years later, and you just and you've seen these movies over and over, you're just like, enough already. This is not exciting in any way.
When she doesn't show up, like, I think it would be better. And obviously, I don't think you'd get as big of a star as Angelina Jolie. Mm-hmm. He goes to get Sway, and she says no because you left me. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I think you don't need Sway to come back, because it's not her movie, but it adds something to Memphis where he did give up possibly the love of his life, and she doesn't come back. And these are the things he sacrificed for Kip. And I think that makes it better than having Sway come back and just being like, why?
And she disappears too in the movie. Like he says when he goes to the bar, okay. And then
she's not back until 20 minutes before the heist.
Yeah. I'm doing it for Kip. You don't need to know Kip.
We have no scenes where you talk about knowing Kip.
Yeah. Exactly. It was and again, that's probably the detriment of a big cast. Like Robert Duvall has the end credit in here, but he's in this movie more than Angelina Jolie, it feels like.
For sure. No, he is. Otto's in it for more than her.
Yeah. So, maybe there's that too.
The one thing I think, talking on that point, is when you do an ensemble cast like Ocean's 11 and stuff like that, you're only going to have a couple people that actually have, like, look at Ocean's 11. I mean, Brad Pitt has a background. George Clooney's character has a background. Everyone else is just kind of there, though.
But they have arcs.
They do have arcs, and you get a little bit of their backstory. Here, you really only get Sphinx's backstory. He's the only, or Chi McBride's character. You do also get a little bit of background, but only the two of them.
Yeah, listen. Ensembles are not easy. They're fun to watch. They're fun to do, but they're not easy to write. And you have to be very talented to kind of make every person in every character count.
Yeah, have it matter.
Yeah, so it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing to pull off. That's why the Ocean's series you have to respect them, because they do it. They do it all three films. Which ones don't you like? 12?
I don't like 2.
You don't know Ocean's 12.
12, yeah.
No one likes Ocean's 12. It's and I get that. It's just a different film from 11 and 13. It's not obviously not Vegas again, but it's a much different style film. It's more of a 70s style film. I'd argue. I think
it's a little goofier too on purpose.
I think so, but I think if you revisited it, I don't think you would be as down on it as you are right now.
Maybe. I did see on Instagram a clip of what's his face, the French actor, avoiding all the laser beams, and I was just like, oh man, I hate that scene. But maybe the rest of the movie is better than I remember.
I'll take that scene over anything in Entrapment.
Yeah. Wait, they're kind of equal, but Entrapment led to a really funny Workaholics episode. I know you've never watched Workaholics. No,
I have not watched Workaholics.
Oh man,
not because I refuse to. I just
it's got a really funny scene with that's all about Entrapment. Or episode about.
You want to talk about sexual tension between Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones. All right, well, let's talk about Sphinx, because we haven't even we've talked about everyone else, I guess, but
Sphinx.
I actually like Vinnie Jones in this film.
Me too. I like Vinnie Jones in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The original. So I don't know if this was in the original movie, but I know that in the original script, I don't know if it was original this script or that script. Who knows?
Right.
But the reason why he's called Sphinx is because he's supposed to have no nose.
I did read that. He's supposed to wear glasses with a fake nose that covers it the whole time.
Like the structure in Egypt, that's why he's called Sphinx. He has no nose. But I don't know if the note I have is early draft. I don't know if it's the early 74 draft or the early 2000 draft. So who knows? But that's the reason why he's called Sphinx.
I'm glad they dropped that.
And the scene where he pushes the car off the
the police truck off
when they're going down the
parking garage,
the ramp. He wasn't supposed to push the car all the way off the ramp, but he couldn't get by, and he hit it as he's driving by. So it works. So
And what did he shout? He shouted something. Take that.
Yeah.
That'll teach you.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. Eccleston. Eccleston didn't like. Shocker.
Didn't like
this
himself.
movie.
Yeah.
Quote, terrible film in which I give a terrible performance, and people would see him and quote go, "You were gone in 60 seconds, mate. You were shit." And he laughed because I was.
I don't think any of that is true.
Like he was bad in the movie.
That people shout at him, "Hey, you were shitting."
Yeah, I know.
Seconds.
I mean,
that he's just,
I did cringe when he said, "When it rains, it pours." I was like, "No, that's not great. Don't say that." And
I collapsed.
Why would you? Collapse?
I knew it was coming up, and I was like, "Oh, that is a line for the trailer right there."
So he says that because he tells him that he calls
Memphis
up
Rain. One rain.
He calls up Will Patton's character, and he's like, Will Patton suddenly is good. He's like, I can't find Kip, and he's right in front of him. And he's like, I don't care. Then the brother will pay. When it rains, it pours. And I'm just like, oh, God.
One rain's as good as another. When it rains, it pours. It doesn't rain, it pours. He's got a terrible wig on, too.
Is that a wig?
It's a wig by then, even then.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
because he's got a thin hairline and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's just awful. He looks like Dennis Leary the whole movie. So I was like, why does he look like Dennis Leary?
You can always tell when they're wearing wigs in movies because the back of the hair looks like it's just going straight down. It doesn't look like
it doesn't come up or anything.
If you're ever wondering, if you're ever looking in film and you see their hair, like this is not a wig. So you're seeing their hair and it's going straight down like that. That means that it's usually some kind of piece going on there. But hey, they're actors. You gotta play a role. That's fine. That works out.
His woodworking fetish was also weird.
It was stupid.
It was just something added in to give him a Bond villain type thing.
That was probably because that's the location they got and they had to make it work. I mean, that's probably what
it's
it was.
It's an auto play. It's a smelting
and then
plant.
They're probably like, why would there be wood things here? Let's make it work. Let's write it in. That's probably something like that. Come on.
That's right. You got a thing for wood. And how dumb is he not to catch Memphis when he's hanging off the thing 1 foot in front of him?
Yeah.
You don't notice you're missing a grate in your floor right there? There's just an empty square.
This is the film. This is a film that is one of the first major movies with a female trailer voice, Melissa Disney. So if you watch the trailer, it's not the trailer voice guy who does the Honest Trailers now, right? He does all those, right?
No, Honest Trailers is a different dude. He just happens
to
be able to do the trailer voice.
So this is one of the first films that had a female trailer voice. So I thought that was interesting. But it's only the beginning. It's like the trailer. I was telling Butler about the trailer. It was like, something about 90 seconds to get your popcorn. And it was something like, because you're in the theater. And then it was like, but these guys will take 60 seconds to steal your car. And then it takes off it shows them doing all these sorts of what they do in the movie, hooking up to the battery, doing all the, whatever they're doing to steal the car, which I thought was interesting. The whole thing when he cracks the front the front light and he shorts it out.
They're doing a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want this because I don't want the exposition, but I kind of do want this. Like, I want to know what they're doing, like how they're stealing these cars.
I like the Ferrari, the electric starter that hooked up to the engine.
Yes.
To start it, and then she unplugs it and it allows the front to be able to start. Right. I was like, that's kind of cool. But apparently there is a mess up because they steal a Lamborghini Diablo, and apparently you need those same electric keys that you got, the electronic keys that they had for the Mercedes. So they couldn't have stolen the Lamborghini without those either.
Oh, this movie's terrible then.
Right?
Don't watch this film.
Unreal. I'm trying to find. Did you read the tagline for the film?
Oh,
I had it up and now it's gone.
Oh,
it's terrible, but it's hilarious.
Just look at the poster. It's probably on the poster.
Oh no, here it is. Ice cold, hot wired.
Oh, that is bad.
It's like, we need something. Listen, I got lunch in 5 minutes, so we better come up with something.
Who came
quick.
up with that?
Ice cold, hot wired.
That's bad. That's really bad. Oof. Ooh, that's terrible. Ebert. Quote, this is the kind of movie that ends up playing on the TV set over the bar in a better movie. It looks like they sent out contracts to a lot of actors and were surprised when they all said yes. End quote.
Damn, Ebert.
Mick LaSalle from the San Francisco Chronicle said, Santa, may lack a clear directorial personality, but he does try to make up for it by keeping things moving. It's the right strategy. Slow this movie down long enough for people to get up to buy popcorn, and they might change their minds and go straight home. Woof. Finally, Elvis Mitchell from the New York Times, quote, "This new version is mindless, hot-rodding fun, especially for those with a weakness for vintage cars hurtling down city streets, a group whose members include me," end quote. So Mitchell was a fan begrudgingly.
I think that's me.
But that's an honest review. He's like, listen, I can't sit here and defend it because I love these cars, so that's probably why I likes it. And you know what? That's great.
I like this movie. I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with what I said?
No. I agree with what he said. The
Elvis Mitchell. Yeah.
And me begrudgingly. Like I totally agree with that. I don't think it's as candy as we were talking about After the Sunset is earlier this season. It's not as throwaway, we forgot we were even recording that movie. Like, what was that second movie? What is that other movie we're doing?
We did.
As soon as we watched, like I had watched it like 18 hours earlier.
Yeah, just Pierce Brosnan and Salma Hayek kissing every 10 minutes.
Yeah. This movie I don't think is like that kind of candy, but I do think it's summer blockbuster fun. I think that's what this movie is.
It's a fun film.
And I think it works. Like I know we kind of trash it the last 34 minutes.
Not really.
But
we're just kind of talking about
like picking stuff apart. Yeah.
That's the gig, Butler.
But I think overall it is a fun film, and I think that it is definitely worth your time. I think that I don't agree with Ebert, although I of all of Ebert's kind of crapping on films that I like reviews that he's done lately, that's actually pretty funny.
You could do a compilation video of all the you and your responses to the Ebert reviews.
Ebert's.
Yeah. So you're okay with the jumping scene, the bridge jump scene where he jumps over like Evel Knievel style?
Only because unlike all other movies, he wrecks his car doing it.
True.
In every other action movie, you get a jump car. The car miraculously survives. Even if the shot ends with sparks flying out from under the car, the next shot, the car is also fine. Yeah. Magic. So in this, I love that he does it, and the rest of the scene is
and flies. He seemingly flies in midair over everything.
The firefighter's just like, what? Almost killing hospital like ambulance victims at the very
sorry. So I mean, would you recommend this film to people? Obviously I think you would.
Yeah, I think it's a fun film. I think anybody who likes the Fast and Furious franchise, this is one worth watching. If you like cars, there's a bunch of really nice cars that they steal in this film, although you don't get to see them till like the end.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's worth watching. I think Nicolas Cage is really good. Delroy Lindo is really good. And it's got that early 2000s action movie style that like I grew up with. So I really dig it, even though I'm not going to sit here and defend it.
So you're telling me that you would love Swordfish then?
I actually don't like Swordfish.
I know. I just always remember Swordfish because it was like Hugh Jackman's big film after X-Men, after he was like
what can he do?
Yeah, it was like, oh, now he's in Swordfish. And I just remember and obviously everyone's going to remember the trailer where the ball bearing comes up to him and you could see him in his face. Yeah.
That's how it opens too, right? And then it flashes back.
Because they've got bombs strapped to people that are, and the bombs have ball bearings in them. Yeah.
I remember only a few scenes. Obviously, I remember one particular scene with Halle Berry. I remember that he can't hack he can't hack anything for like, he can't use a computer for 10 years or something.
Yeah, that's why he lives in the trailer out
with his daughter.
Desert. Yeah.
And then I remember him trying to hack and like the girl's down under the table with him and it's like, under pressure, can you handle it? And at the end, I remember it turns out John Travolta was CIA the whole time and he's driving away the boat. And I'm just like, what is this?
I forgot Travolta was in the film.
So he's the main bad guy or good guy, depending on how you look at it.
Now I remember.
So do I like Swordfish? No, I don't like Swordfish, but it's got a couple of like scenes that are very extreme.
I think you do like. I mean, it's no Face Off.
It's like just a nostalgia. No, just Face Off's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Face Off's just got such extreme acting that you can't not like it.
That's awesome. Tiramisu. Okay, why are we saying this film's forgotten then?
I think Fast and Furious trounced it.
Well, that was 90. That was a 99.
Was it? It was either
2001. I'll just look it up. I don't know why I try to guess.
Fast and Furious must be 2000 or.
Oh, see, here's the thing. I type Fast and Furious and I get
the other one.
2009. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. The Fast and Furious
2001. So it came out the next year. Go in the fridge.
I bought those.
I think Fast and Furious just kind of.
But that was a whole year later.
I think it pushed it out of people's collective memories. And after that, it's like, you want a car movie? Ooh, Gone in 60 Seconds for a year. And then after that, it's just like, well, Fast and Furious is just the thing.
And I mean, but this was, so 97 was Face Off. Con Air was 96?
Was Con Air before Face Off?
Or I want to say it was before Face Off. Because
97 is Con Air.
Is Con Air and Face Off for the same year? What a year for Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Whoa. So, because I'm trying to think of Nicolas Cage's stars. So National Treasure is around this time. Face Off, Con Air, The Rock was 94. Right?
94?
No, it wasn't 94. That 96.
The Rock is 96.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
National Treasure was 2004. But regardless, like there is a 10, 15 years of Nick Cage in big summer action films.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And the ones that we're naming, I think are more lauded than Gone in 60 Seconds.
Absolutely.
Probably a little bit better than Gone in 60 Seconds. So I think that's part of I think that's also part of it. I just think that he's been in other films that are just really good.
I mean, you're doing two big summer movies a year. Yeah, you're gonna.
I mean,
that's
that's 97. Nick Cage, way to go. Way to go. And he won Leaving Las Vegas. He won that Oscar in
92.
Was that 92?
No, 95.
95. Yeah. So like, I remember, you know what? Yes, because I remember he won the Oscar and then it was like, okay, now I'm just going to go make action film. Now I'm just going to go make the movies I want to make, which is great. Yeah, no, I mean, adaptations in the early 2000s too. So like don't sleep on Nick Cage, man. I mean, I think
not at all.
I mean, I think I think we talked about it ahead of time, like, you know, that he makes a choice when he does his films, but he's in some good stuff and he's good in some of these things. So, I mean, I'm not really saying anything you don't already know.
Well, people crap on him because he does all these different movies now that direct to DVD, like bargain bin things, but
right.
He's even said it, and we brought it
but
up on the podcast.
They're not bargain bin. They're just indies, or they're just lower, like Mandy, or what was it, Ride with the Devil, or whatever.
Well, now
it was.
some
that
of these
one,
newer ones are big.
Not Ride with the Devil, but yeah, but I'm just
the bigger indies. But before that, he was doing anything.
Dream Scenario, but he's doing
that's
a lot.
Now.
Yeah, but I'm saying that he's doing a lot of
now.
Smaller
But then
films.
before, like after Ghost Rider, he kind of fell off.
True,
because he does admit in an interview, he's talked about how yes, some of my movie choices are because I need to do movies, so I'm going to keep doing movies. So I need to pay back a lot of tax.
Well, I know that,
but
yes.
He also says, but I also I'm taking these roles because some of the roles are things I would never get in Hollywood normally. Mm-hmm. And some of the roles are just up and coming directors or genres that like I would never get, like Hollywood's not giving out to me.
Yeah.
For my asking price. So I do a smaller indie at scale, and then I'm able to do all these crazy weird roles.
Yeah. Awesome.
Which is great.
So we were talking about why it was forgotten. So I think that's part of the reason.
I agree. I think between us, I think those are two big reasons.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this movie to anybody?
See, I wouldn't recommend it ahead of the other ones. It depends. Hey, I like cars. Oh, then, you know, if somebody I know likes cars, I would say, yes, you'd love this film. Somebody I know like Nicolas Cage, I'm recommending a bunch of other films.
Well, let's say they've seen a bunch of the other films.
I've seen every single Nick Cage ever except this movie. Should I watch it? Yes.
Well, if we're saying this is forgotten and like The Rock's not forgotten, so they like The Rock, they like National Treasure.
Then I would suggest.
Well, I don't know if you like National Treasure, I don't know if this is the same kind of movie.
That's more of an adventure thing. Yeah. If you only like National Treasure, if you like you know what I mean?
If you like it with others.
Right. I think if you like Nicolas Cage and Face Off and all that stuff, I would recommend it. I would say it's not as actiony as the other ones.
Yeah.
But it does have, you know, some cool car chase scenes and stuff like that. And Nicolas Cage is good in it. And, you know, you're not going to be disappointed with the acting and stuff like that. No, yeah, I would recommend this. I mean, I recommend any movie, obviously.
It's ridiculous that they wait 3.5 days to steal all the cars.
But he says that he explains that it's easier.
It's the moment of attack and the surprise. Right. I get that they explain it in the movie.
He says if they do it,
piecemeal, they're going to catch on to him.
The cops are going to catch on to him.
Which obviously did it with Kip, so he's not wrong.
Right. So,
but you also get the last 45 minutes of the movie is basically one giant chase scene, which is
right.
Cool.
Which is cool. And the chase at the end, I guess our last note maybe, the chase at the end where he's trying to get the car to the boat and they're being chased was largely improvised. I guess they were doing that on the fly.
I saw that. And then Cage, it was tough to get Cage out of the car. Because he actually went to 5 stunt driving schools.
Yeah.
And then when he finished wrapping the movie, he would go back to those schools just because he thought it was so much fun.
Well, he got into it.
Which is awesome.
He got into car driving.
I'd be the same way. I think that's awesome.
He, Cage, Angelina Jolie, Delroy Lindo, Ribisi, and Khan all trained with Bobby Orr. But Cage also did 2 other schools in addition to that. So, so he got into it. And hey, Ryan Gosling learned how to play piano for La La Land. Yeah.
And then him and Jerry Bruckheimer both got one of the 2.
Yes.
2 out of the 3 undamaged Eleanors.
And he'll drive it around sometimes, but Bruckheimer's afraid to. Come on, Jerry.
Got that curse.
You got tons of money. You'll fix it if it gets cracked. Butler, where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. You're watching or listening to us right now. So why don't you subscribe, comment? All that stuff really does help the podcast. It's just a little small free thing that you could do to help us. If you want more free things, you could join our Patreon. It's free to join, and you get access to our Discord where you can talk films with us. Let us know what you guys think about Gone in 60 Seconds v Fast and Furious, or I'm sorry, The Fast and Furious.
Right. All right. It's The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. And if you'd like to support us further, we have a merch shop, which there are links to on our main page. And you can join our Patreon tiers where you get free, you get early access to these episodes, and you get free exclusive episodes like our lead up series where we did Alien all summer long. We're probably going to do Beetlejuice before the new one, I think.
Beetlejuice.
We definitely have at least one exclusive episode for you guys every month, along with other goodies, merch discounts, stuff like that. So join us, help us, support us, and talk to us on our Discord. Love me.
And join us. Speaking of Patreon, next week we'll be doing a movie that our Patreon subscribers chose in a poll. We one of the benefits is
you get to vote for one episode. Right. Vote for one episode.
So we gave them a choice of 5 films that we selected, and the winner was the 1983 comedy Mr. Mom, starring Michael Keaton, Terry Garr, Martin Mull, and among a bunch of other people. So we're going to be talking about that next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.